Good afternoon, and oops.
You
Gotta mute that. Yeah, no worries. Good? Yeah, okay. And welcome to Pittsburgh City Council's Cablecast public hearing for Wednesday, November 6, 2024, relative to Bill 2024-0983. Will Madam Clerk please read the title of the bill?
Bill 983, Resolution Approving a Conditional Use Application under the Pittsburgh Code, Title 9, Zoning, Article 5, Chapter 911, Section 911.04.A.22 to the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh, property owner, for authorization to conduct an excavation, grading, fill, major use at 1096 Goodman Street, parcels 129F1 and 129J150, zoned RP, Residential Planned Unit Developments, 14th Ward, Council District 5.
Okay, is there anyone online? I don't think so. No. Okay, great. We are joined today by members of City Planning and the URA. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Yes, thank you. Oh, sorry. Paul Consillo, Principal Planner with the Department of City Planning.
My name is Lily Friedman, Manager of Development Projects for the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh.
All right, thank you. And our next order of, did you want to?
Yeah, I can read in the case.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there was a development application that was filed by Civil and Environmental Consultants, Inc. on behalf of the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh, who are the property owners of this site, for environmental site remediation to cap the exposed slag material on the subject property and return it to a vegetated meadow condition. So this includes two parcels, 129F1 and 129J150. The applicant intends to submit a lot consolidation plan at a later date. Per section 911.02, this is considered an excavation, grading, fill major use, which is a conditional use throughout the city of Pittsburgh. So a conditional use requires review by both the Planning Commission as well as City Council in accordance with the conditional use standards of section 922.06. The use standards outlined for the excavation, grade, or fill major are as follows. The proposed operation shall meet all requirements of the Land Operations Ordinance and Title 13 Stormwater Management as applicable. The operation shall be controlled in a manner as to offer reasonable protection to the neighborhood against possible detrimental impacts, taking into consideration the physical relationship to the surrounding properties and access to the site. Residential streets shall not be used for routing of vehicles serving the excavation or fill unless there is no other physical option, and a plan shall be submitted to the planning director assessing the number of vehicles that will access the site and the routes the vehicles will travel. This application proposes to use three different entry and exit points as a part of their trucking route, using the 9-mile run trail via Commercial Street, Goodman Street, as well as Love Street. The applicant is currently in discussions with the City of Pittsburgh regarding permission to use the 9-mile run trail, as this is more or less jointly owned by both the URA as well as the City of Pittsburgh. So there would be a temporary access easement during essentially the trucking portion of this site remediation. The applicant, the Department of Public Works, the director submitted a memo giving a letter of support, and that was dated July 17th, 2024. That was submitted to the Planning Commission and then subsequently submitted to the clerk's office as well. There's no registered community organization in this neighborhood, so a development activities meeting was not required. However, the applicant has held several meetings with the Soselm Park neighborhood, including conducting a survey regarding the proposed trucking routes. The site is located within the Frick Park Historic District. The Department of City Planning determined that historic review is not required given the existing conditions on the site as well as the proposed scope of work. Likewise, because of the scope of work, a stormwater permit was not needed as a part of this review process. The The applicant is currently working with the forestry department on an alternative tree plan to account for the trees that are being proposed to be removed on the site as a part of the site remediation. The applicant, the curb cut permit for this project was issued by the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on August 13th, 2024. The Planning Commission gave a positive recommendation on this application. There's a required 45-day period for subsequent to the Planning Commission's action to hold this public hearing. The applicant asked for an extension so that it can go beyond that November 1st deadline date to be able to hold this meeting today on November 6th, 2024. The review criteria for conditional use applications are set forth in section 922.06.e.1, and those are included in the report submitted to the city clerk's office. And with that, I'll turn it over to...
Okay, great.
I do have a presentation I can share if that would be helpful.
It's up to you guys. Yeah? Okay.
Sure. All right. Today we're presenting on the Swiss Elm Park Solar Remediation Project. A little bit of quick history of the site. It was formerly owned by Duquesne Slag Products and was used as a slag heat waste site. So for folks who don't know, slag is a waste derivative from the steel manufacturing process. Because of this history, it is currently an Act 2 site, and the URA is under consent order and agreement with the PADP to remediate the site before developing or public use of the property. The chemicals of concern are listed here. And I want to share that, this is the first phase of a larger development project. So today we are speaking about the lot consolidation and remediation. However, in the future, we are excited to plan for a solar development on the site on roughly 15 acres of the total property. And then a later phase, the third phase, will include the subdivision and disposition of roughly 55 acres to the city of Pittsburgh for a Frick Park extension. You can see the area where the lot consolidation actually has already officially occurred. So where it was 2 parcels before, now it is just one single parcel, 129J150. And you'll also note here the approximate limits of the slag on the right picture. Just to share a little bit more detail about the remediation strategy, you will note the following items from our PADEP approved remediation plan, including the capping requirements of 12 inches combination of clean soil and vegetated topsoil. The total volume, which is the reason that we are here today in terms of the amount of clean fill that will be delivered to the site in combination with the vegetated topsoil is approximately 50,000 cubic yards. Lastly, you will note that erosion and sedimentation control measures prior to soil placement will occur on site. So this includes safety and silt fencing, for example. And I just want to be clear with the phase that we are currently in, the post-construction status of the site will be a vegetative meadow. It was spoken already about some of the access route considerations. You can see those here. And we have done some extensive community engagement around this project starting in 2021. Which includes forming a project-based community stakeholder committee in lieu of a registered community organization, holding 4 public meetings in addition to 1 most recent meeting over the summer, 3 focus group meetings, 1 access route survey, and 3 opportunities to share anonymous feedback online. We spoke briefly about the tree replacement plan, which is currently being developed. At this phase, we have had the vegetation analysis and tree inventory completed, and that has been approved by the city of Pittsburgh. City Forestry's department. And so the next step is for us to develop the plan for approval. Stop there. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Our next order of business will be testimony from our registered speaker. So, you'd like to come up? So just state your name and address or neighborhood for the public record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, Lisa Haydu, and I'm in 1100 Goodman Street, right next to the proposed development in Swiss Elm Park. Is there anything else you need to know?
No, you're
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of the map in front of me, but as I was looking at it further, it looks to me like you're going to use the parcel of property right next to my house. And you're also going to, and my neighbor's house on the other side of the street. And that parcel would then, the map shows in the red line, I don't know if you could put it up on the screen or not, but it shows what we called Ober Street as I was growing up there. I lived there most of my life. And that's a paper street. And I was shocked to see that it shows excavation for that and also going along the River Hill. So I thought you originally were, as you can see, yes, it goes right there, that red lined area goes right up Ober Street and up to the River Hill. And then I guess down the ball field too. But I wonder why would you need to have the property right next to the house when initially when it was the Urban Redevelopment Authority was saying when they had Somerset that they were going to leave that lot next to my property alone and next to the neighbors across the street. And the map clearly shows that no, it would be right, including that lot along with Ober Street, the paper street, Ober Street. So I guess my concern too would be, would you be taking my property with eminent domain? And also, why do you need to use Goodman Street, period, when it's such a narrow street to begin with? And they have access through 9 Mile Run. They're working on access there, which is already a pretty big road and would be right, supposedly, up to the site to where the solar farm is going to be built. So those are my questions. Why are you putting, first of all, using Goodman Street and Love Street? Second of all, why would you be using Ober Street, the little paper street, which looks like my driveway, and the River Hill, and that lot right across from me? When you had initially said, I know this isn't Somerset anymore development, but I thought that lot was going to be left alone. So those are my questions.
Yeah, I can jump in to answer some of those. So first, I want to be clear that there will be no eminent domain exercised in any portion of this development. Secondly, we are not planning to use Ober Street as an access route or for any type of vehicular traffic. And the reason that we need to use Goodman and Love Street is because of the way the topography of the site lays out. We need an entrance on both the southern and northern side of the site to be able to access both the upper and lower paths, which you can see on the right image here, the kind of tan sections. There's an upper and a lower pad where we anticipate the remediation will need to occur. And so the separation of the two access routes are needed to access two different parts of the site, as well as to minimize the impact to any one street for this development. So yeah, I guess I'll stop there. Happy to take any additional question if that didn't cover.
Well, the question you didn't cover is, why are you using the parcel right smack up against my house? And the red line shows that it includes Ober Street.
So
why was not going to be left alone?
Yeah, so, okay, well, we'll let Lily answer that, and then. Yeah, there's usually no back and forth in a hearing, but it's okay. There's only one speaker, so we can get, that's fine.
Okay, Great. So yeah, the Overstreet, you can see that that is the end of the parcel boundary. So I know the map is a little bit small here, but our parcel boundary goes up to Overstreet, but it will not be on Overstreet. And then, yeah, the reason that we need to remediate the parcel directly next to Goodman Street, so 129J150, is because the consent order and agreement includes this area for the need to be remediated. And again, that's based on a history of toxic use for the site. And yeah, the goal is to, ensure that this is safe and healthy for productive reuse.
Okay. Do we have any further speakers
Thank you.
here online? Well, with that, having exhausted our list of registered speakers, that's it, I guess. We've exhausted the business of this public hearing, and the meeting is adjourned.